What we're going to discuss today is basically incubation program. We're going to also to discuss acceleration programs, but most importantly, we're going to discuss the tools and the hacks of scaling startups. We're here for like discussing how can we bolster, how can we support startups in various ways. Two of these ways are through incubation and acceleration programs. I'm super excited to have my fellow panelists with me today, who comes from different backgrounds, Syifa, Gachi, and Mohammed as well. They represent different entities, they represent different backgrounds. I'll leave to them, everyone, to introduce herself and himself. Syifa, what do you guys do at inDrive? What are the tools you use? Tell us more about what you do.
Thank you, Assem, and very nice to meet everyone. I hope we can get to talk more during the networking. But my name is Syifa, I'm from inDrive, Indonesia. We're actually a global organization supporting founders. So Indonesia is just one out of the 43 offices that we have around the world. What we do basically is we scale the founders so that the founders can scale their company. We're an entrepreneur-first organization who focus on their challenges and what they need to work on. And we focus actually on growth stage. And by growth stage meaning they're mostly post-Series A. However, we do have acceleration for seed to Series A, seed to pre-A. And then we do have some outreach program for earlier startups.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Gachi, what do you do with entrepreneurs and the investors community? I understand you have a diverse background. Tell us more about it.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm very glad to be here. And now I'm build the community, entrepreneur CIS community. But I will speak based on my background because I was head of business incubator, plug and play and peri innovation in Dagestan. This is maybe a poor region in Russia, and it's not homeland of unicorns. It's maybe it's a birthplace for fighters. Maybe Kasyfunnur Magomedov, Islam Makhachev. Yes, it's Dagestan, and we worked with early stage startups and entrepreneurs in Dagestan. And the next my previous experience, it's I head of acceleration program. This was the biggest accelerator in Russian and CIS region, IIDF, and we work with seed plus, and pre-seed startups. And I will speak based on this experience.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mohammed, I understand you consult. You're an incubation acceleration consultant. You've worked with several entities. Tell us more about your projects and what you do now.
Okay, hello everyone. You can call me Funnur, by the way, not Muhammad. I'm not really comfortable to be called Muhammad because that's a big name for me. Yeah, you can call me Funnur. Hello everyone. So I'm a consultant. Currently, I work with Angin Angel Investment Network in Indonesia. I'm running one of their accelerator project with JICA. Most of the time, basically, because I'm not belong to one entity because I'm a consultant. I've worked with several.
Maybe okay.
Yeah, I also have worked with several other entities. Like last time, I worked to have an incubation program for NGO for their unit business. So. In terms of program, I can say that I have various experience in doing an acceleration and incubation program. Hopefully I can share it with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Gachi, let me start with you. I have a question now.
Okay.
Do we differentiate the success matrix between incubators? Like, I mean, you used to work with Plug and Play, Syifa from inDrive. Are the matrix of success of an incubation or acceleration program the same, or there are different KPIs and different, roadmaps?
Yes, of course, they have both KPIs, and do you know the situation when some successful entrepreneurs and their photo hung on on our board in university and school and maybe kindergarten, the one entrepreneur. And it's okay like incubator and accelerator when we look at really successful startups. Of course, this is maybe work incubator and accelerator, but for me, the KPIs incubators, this is a number of people, number of entrepreneurs who started the business. It's not about valuation, it's not about capitalization of this company. This is a conversation to people, to entrepreneurs. This is a incubators, but when we call about accelerator, this is a number of how many startups raised the second round, maybe seed, round A, and etc. And of course, ideal situation for accelerator, this is the number of unicorns and the large companies. It's a really different KPIs, and finally, since a lot of incubators, this is the government-owned, maybe philanthropies and sponsorship, and their expectation, the social effect, the social impact, and for example, it's how many job paid incubator graduated, and I think it's a good KPIs for incubator. This is different.
Thank you. I think we can divide the buckets into two. One is short-term metrics, and the other one is long-term metrics. So short-term metrics, for example, in our accelerator, we measure the amount of exposure that we give to the entrepreneurs, to the investors, to the potential business partners, and then one-on-one mentorship, for example, that we arrange for them. How many founder-to-founder kind of connections that we gather for them. And then long-term metrics is something that we measure usually annually, so we call this impact survey, that we measure the increase of the revenue and also jobs that they actually create through their ventures. Another metrics that we also measure, but it's more like a bonus metrics, is the amount of funding that they can raise, but mostly we rely on the revenue and the jobs created. Because again, the mission that Endeavor has is we want to make sure that each market has a sustainable economy in the future, and therefore we need to secure the job and the economic growth of the economic drive in the company. In the country.
I just, let's do a quick survey. How many person here represents an accelerator or incubator? Do you have any? Okay. Guys, please, we would love to have your insights and engage with us. At some point, we're going to need your insights with us. Maybe we can open the discussion as well to, like for inclusion. How many VCs do we have here representing a VC?
The same people.
Interesting. Funur, working with initial stages of, like startup development, is there any proven online tools or approaches that are successful in, initial startup development?
Tools. There is no specific tools actually, but because maybe it's not the tools, but it's like
approaches.
Approaches, yeah. Okay. For approaches, maybe for early stage they really like it's like they are blind. They don't know how they wanted to go. So for me, for the early stage, the approaches is like must be hands-on, must be personal. Sometimes that we as a program runner sometimes build a barrier with the participants. Like we don't really care about them. We just doing our job and not really genuinely care. So, but I think it's important for us to have to genuinely care about them. Like we build the personal relationships with them. We as the program runner, I think it will be beneficial because they are still in the start phase. They still have a long journey ahead. So if they don't know where they want to go, so we as the program runner, we can be like a guide for them, and it's better if we can guide them personally, hands-on. I mean, but that in the case if the startups is not really so many big startups like so. I think for early stage, it's better to have a program that with a small batch instead of a big batch, so we can more focus with them.
Yeah. Gaji, how can we do the balance of giving, mentorship and advices and action plans to the startups, and at the same time, at a, cost-friendly or budget-friendly, with limited resources for startups?
Yes.
How can we do this balance? And the same question for you too.
Yes, it's a good question. We use group work, and because we organize some workshops and some group works. It's not so expensive because we can invite a lot of people. And the second, we use community initiatives because we are looking entrepreneurs who have most important and good experience, and they share this like mentors, like consultant and experts, and often it was cheaper or free for us, and for us it's a really good and effective instrument. This is a community experience entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Thank you. The way I look at this is, one, depending on the mission that you have. So if you can gather these resources to believe in your mission, and there are, for example, the mentors, we don't need to pay them. They're doing this for pro bono, and it's because their aspiration or their dream is aligned with our organization's dream, and we provide a very high quality curation for them. I heard a lot from the mentors that oftentimes they've been asked to mentor other startups, but they actually said that it's almost like a waste of their time because the curation was bad, the startups were not ready, when coming to the mentorship session. So when creating like mentorship, for example, I'm just taking an example, right? It's both ways actually. The startups will be learning from the mentors, but also it's a good learning experience for the mentors. So we have to create good experience for both. Therefore, we don't need to pay either side. And for example, with our program fee, we don't take equity in our acceleration, but we do take program fee. And even with that small program fee, I think we can have a pretty good margin out of the program. So it can be done with frugal mentality, actually.
I'd like to get your insights, guys. Who would like to join the discussion? People who are presenting Accelerator. Would you like to?
Maybe Kagan.
How can you? My question again. How can you do the balance between giving support to the startups and many resources and being at a budget-friendly strategy? How can you do this balance?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it's a little bit about trying to get the impossible done, to do things on a shoestring budget, but the startups are doing the exact same, so if they can do it, then we need to be able to figure out and do it. I agree with the point that was just made in regards to like having the value work both ways, making sure that you're doing proper mentor-mentee matching so that both sides of it feel like they're getting something out of it, then people are more willing to volunteer their time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's quite challenging, especially when you're at like the first week or first 2 weeks of a program, because you need to be able to ensure that you have enough detail out of the selection process to where those first mentor matches actually end up working. The way that we run ours is we actually do rotations of mentors, so it's not like one-on-one. I think inDrive does pretty similar where they'll do a rotation of different mentors. At least I'm more familiar with the Malaysian chapter, not the Indonesia.
Same, we work the same.
Yeah, I assumed as much. And so that ends up working, and then we try and push a model where it becomes a little bit more self-serve, where we push the mentors to open up office hours availability, but then push it to the onus of the startups to actually try and take advantage of that. Because otherwise, it becomes very time-consuming to constantly be kind of the one trying to schedule everything.
Would you like to add something?
Hi, I'm Ben. I think I'm the only Philippines representative there. So I think there's a couple of things that worked for us quite well. We've been around since 2011, and so it just sort of helps to have a fairly large back catalogue of founders that have been through our programs, and they tend to, be more grateful and more available because they know that they've been in exactly the same program. So obviously you've got to find the guys that were more successful, so they've got the experience and guidance to share. And then I think the second thing was just, it kind of goes back to the point on metrics. I mean, we're relatively resource constrained. We tend to keep our cohorts under 10, so normally between kind of 5 and 8. And it's less during the selection process for us, but when we do the initial 2 weeks of diagnostic to understand what the startup's at, what the main challenges are, and then we try to be quite specific about their core priorities for the program, where we're really trying to support and make sure that they develop and progress. And then I find you can be a little bit more effective with your matching and ensure that they're talking to the right people. But I would certainly support Kevin's point as well, right? Trying to endlessly put meetings together between people, and then the founder's busy, so they have to cancel because they've got a VC meet, and it all just pushes back, right? So I think, put more of the initiative on the founders to, this person can definitely give you some support, some insight and advice. I'll do the initial email. It's up to you to find a time at some point in the next 10 days. And yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it's the same here, but compared to Europe, where I'm from, Filipinos are just super nice. So it's not normally from a lack of desire that someone's going to get a meeting. Maybe there's a time, a schedule challenge, but yeah, I think draw on the people that come from your community would be my overriding point, because they tend to say yes.
Okay, let's get down to business now and speak about how can we work in cost-effective strategies. I mean, definitely you guys have something to say when it comes to cost-effective strategies. Funnur, how can an incubation program or an accelerator program work with a cost-effective strategy with a startup?
Find sponsor. Yeah. I think because like nowadays startups tend not willing to pay for the incubation program, so we as the program runner need to find like sponsors, donors, or even grants or projects to run a program. So yeah, I think
this is the only gate.
Huh?
This is the only game.
Because yeah, I agree with what Syifa said. Like we can cut the cost in mentors, because mentors is the essential part, and we really need them. We cannot do the program without them. But we don't really want to pay them that big, that much. So yeah, actually what Syifa said is one of the examples how to cut costs. Other than that, yeah, you can because. Actually, COVID have helping us to adapt in doing online mentoring. So yeah, you can do as well the online mentoring instead of in-person mentoring or even in-person workshop. You can do online mentoring, online workshop. Yeah, that's one of the other things you can do for cost cutting strategies.
That's great. I think we started our acceleration 2 years ago. That was during COVID, the peak of COVID, and we did the program with $0. And the way we do that is full online, but nowadays people are sick to get on the Zoom, right? So no more Zoom. They want an in-person meeting. So for example, for these community meetings, we can ask someone to actually voluntarily host. It can be at their office, it can be their home, and then, or if you want to meet in a restaurant, it's just pay your own meal or drink, and then that meeting can still happen without any cost burden on your organization.
Interesting. Gaji, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I don't believe that incubator can be cost effective. Yes, on the first time maybe because a lot of energy founders and other, but the long term it's not cost effective organization, and I sure that accelerator need sponsors, maybe for fund some charitable, maybe government, state sponsor, because it's not the business, it's not effective and stable business model. It's on my opinion. But accelerator maybe accelerate, but better way for accelerator is to work with some VC and maybe Angels Club, because you have sponsors like VC, and you know what are the expectation in these startups, and you can work with startups and help to grow and raise the second round, raise the money, and it's on my opinion.
Let's do a vote now. I'd like everyone to join this vote. Would you rather launch an industry-specific or an industry-focused incubation program, or a generic incubation program where, regardless the industry of the startup, but it's like the basics of the business, this is more important than the industry-focused program? Who's yes? Raise your hand.
Yes, with industry.
Is with what? Is with what?
With the industry focused. Yes, for the industry focused. 1, 2, 3, 4. The generic one. Wow. Okay. Now my question to you.
You can ask.
Why do you think it's not equal? Why do you think the majority goes to the generic part, not the industry focused incubation program?
Yeah, we've been thinking about doing that industry focus, but we just haven't found the right, I guess, enough pool to then curate the top 10 at one industry specific. And another reason is that we want to make sure that they can exchange insights without having the fear of, oh, maybe I will compete with that company one day. You know, so this multi-industry accelerator can actually make people safe about it. And even if you have like 2 similar companies joining the same batch, we're gonna postpone the other one to join the next one because we don't want them to be in the same batch. And that way everyone will feel safe because we need them to be vulnerable. We need them to fear their, you know, their challenge, to fear what, to share their fear and their challenges, and that's how we believe that's the most efficient way to do that right now.
Fanur, would you like to add something? An industry-specific program or a generic one that goes for any startup?
I think it's I choose the industry focus because like in industry actually you can have many solutions, right? You don't really necessarily have to only one solutions with one industry. So even if you do the industry focus, you can it doesn't necessarily like what Syifa concerned about the competition, because yeah, you can have like for example in health you can have participants like coming from insurtech, and the other one is coming maybe from EMR, electronic medical records. Yeah. Why I chose the industry specific focus, because that's where the money are right now for me, I think, because there are so many sponsors and also donors that want to do the industry specific incubation or acceleration program.
I should definitely speak with Syifa because she sees something else. So we need to guys speak together. Gaji, the same question. Do you think a generic one or an industry focus?
Before I worked on the generic accelerator in programs and without industry focus, but now I think industry focus is better because two things. The first is when you work with only one industries. You can accumulate expertise and share this, and this is a really good opportunities for accumulate and share a lot of expertise in this industry, and deep and really focus. And the second, it is easier and clear for looking for sponsors, looking for partners, clients, startups, because, for example, when you focus on the fintech, you know, bank, insurtech, and this is the only fintech, and you know what the type of sponsor you need, you know what the partner you need, and this is easier for realize.
Syifa, how can a seamless transition happen for a startup from an incubation to an acceleration? How can we ease this process?
Okay, so right now, you know, we do have some, we call it earlier stage. I don't know if that will translate to incubation, but the way we transition some pipeline from that earlier program to our acceleration is really not easy. Because what we promise is high quality curation, right? And so we cannot just do that for the quota. We need to really put our selection process really rigorously. And I think what we can do right now is to make sure that we keep track of their progress, and then we make sure that we only invite them to the accelerator whenever they're ready. So we don't push for immature stage of startups, and everyone is growing at their own pace, and so that's okay. And if we only have like a small number of startups that are ready for accelerators, that's fine. We don't really push for, you know, quantity. It's always quality over quantity.
Do we have any questions? Someone would like to add anything? No? Everyone's happy here? Not much.
Just my observation regarding the acceleration program. So acceleration or program or incubation is more about early stage, right? And what I believe in that this early stage programs is more about people. And I vote for generic approach because sometimes when you unite great founders, great people, individuals, maybe they come with one initial idea, and during the acceleration program they can find out something much better. Yeah, that's why my belief for the early stage, we don't need to focus on industry, but we need to focus more on people and develop people to help them to find better solution, focus on problem, train them, do great pitch presentation.
So basically, train them business.
Train them business. Yeah, even if they have like great expertise in their own domain, but still, when they meet each other, sometimes magic happens, right? And people speak with each other, and when they collaborate. Yeah, that's my just small comment.
Yeah, for incubator, I agree with it. For incubator, without
also agree with Dimitri about the virtues of generic accelerator program. I mean, domain-specific one could deepen your knowledge and become more specialized. But if you look at innovation, how innovation happened during the Italian Renaissance, when the Medici was brought in, they brought all sorts of artists and innovators into an area. So it created a lot of cross-fertilization. And if you look at Israel, when this surgery where they did these robots go into your body to do the surgery, that was learned from the submarine industry. And I think at the early stage of startups, if you want to create awesome entrepreneurs, you put different kind of awesome entrepreneurs in a room, you create extraordinarily awesome entrepreneurs. That last sentence, I didn't say, Paul Graham of Y Combinator said. Thanks.
So I would follow on from those points, and then I have a question as well. I think for us in the Philippines, one of the biggest challenges to validating our accelerator programs, the quality of them, etc., is the founders. And so, if we were to try to be focused on a particular industry, we're a very consumer-driven society, so potentially like e-commerce and logistics and fintech and e-payments. Maybe we get a high quality batch out of that particular area. But I think else it's difficult to do industry specific programs for us because we're just not sure we get the quality of the founders. And for that reason, it's better to do generic and open. But my question is, guys, and if there's another session for this, then I'll hold my question and we can move on. But you mentioned about sponsorship. So we're like a corporate-backed accelerator, but we're always trying to expand and grow and offer additional support options to our founders, and we're always looking to do paid work and sponsorship from that perspective. Like, what's the best value proposition of an accelerator program to a sponsor? I'm interested to know how you market a program and make it attractive for them to sponsor the program. What's in it for the sponsor? Anyone that thinks they can't answer.
Okay.
Anyone who can sponsor.
Yeah, this is a good question, and it depends on sponsor. And we offered several things. The first is PR and brand awareness, because the big company, if we talk about the corporation, the big company HR department have some budget for public relationship and for brand awareness, and it's a HR brand in this company, and we work with HR department in corporation. And the second is find the good employees for this company. It's not about startups, but the big companies looking for initiative and ambitious people, because they are looking every time the good employee and some good specialists, and this is good opportunities for companies because the pipeline, the best people for hiring, and I think that's maybe sometimes they are looking for startups for pilot program, and because they are looking in innovation for growth some metrics, and this is the good opportunities for find startups for pilot, and maybe after they can hiring, maybe after they can buy these startups, and it depends on companies. But this is the third offer in my experience.
Yeah, of course you cannot get everybody to sponsor that acceleration or incubation, especially if you're corporate back. You make sure that the sponsor is not competing with your corporate, right? But for us, right, for us it's less of a brand awareness. I mean, there's a little bit of brand awareness because the amount of exposure that you can give to them is so super limited, right? The max number of companies or founders that you include in the program is probably only max 10. And so we focus on the quality of the engagements. And the way we market them is we structure the program in a way that we create opportunities for that quality engagements. And that can be, for example, there's a roundtable discussion where we can invite the partners or the sponsors to speak for 5-10 minutes, and then after that they do their own work after. But they have that exposure, and that is a quality engagement, because it's not like you just put them in one big networking event and then they do their own. It's very like curated and very close, very intimate. And so we were looking for sponsors or partners who target this stage of startups to be their clients. And also a solution that usually require founders' approval or have the high amount of urgency of founders' challenge or needs to be attracted. For example, law firm, like founders need to be fundraising and they will need someone to advise on the legal side. Another thing is solutions for startups, like something like a solution to manage your cap table, something like that, or a fintech that offer HR solutions and plus payrolls and stuff like that. So those are very attractive sponsors, potential sponsors for us, and we've been successful enough to partner with them. If not for the whole acceleration, it can be for specific programs. It can be just for the networking roundtable discussion, it can be just for the workshop and stuff. You can also break it down into pieces, yeah.
Floor, lastly, what's your main, like in one word, what's your main, from your point of view, bottleneck for any incubation or acceleration program?
Oh, sorry, what?
Bottleneck. A challenge.
Bottleneck challenge.
Okay, got you.
Bottleneck for accelerator or incubator?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. For incubator, I think it's looking for sponsors and and fund and looking for more money. But for accelerator, it's looking for for us, for example. It's a really the first is looking at really ambition and really ambition entrepreneurs, and the second is the market, looking for big market, because we work in Russian and it's not it's a big market, and if we wanna make unicorns, very large companies, we need more to.
So it's more that the economies of scale is not represented there.
Yes, not represented. And this is when you work in this country, for example, in Russia, and a lot of geopolitics problems influence on your startups, and you need to change a lot of things. And why it's a challenge? Because me, like I'm a founder and entrepreneur, I need to thinking about how I can save my team, but not how I can grow my business, how I can save my team, how I can relocate it, and this is a lot of a lot of problems, but it's not about business.
Yes.
I think first is to convince potential candidates to join our startups, our accelerators, because at the end of the day, this is an investment of their time and energy, and also money in our program, because they need to pay. Number two is to deliver a great program so that they can be referral. They can be the referrer. According to Daria's chart, if they're happy with the program, they will recommend to others. So make sure that all the program deliverables are awesome, so that they can speak goodly about our program, and then the next batch will be much easier. And in delivering great programs, it comes down to how we make sure we are thoughtful of their time. I've heard like accelerators who are doing like 2 days on the weekends, full day for 16 weeks or something like that. Founders don't have that much time, right? And so we have to be considerate with this small amount of time that they invested in our program, they get the most value out of it. And then also in picking the right topic, we have to be sensible about the challenge that they are facing right now, and then prioritizing those challenges based on what the market conditions, and actually make this relevant to them. And we have to be agile, like from batch to batch, we change our curriculum, we change our speakers according to their needs, and that's just have to be done to deliver a great program.
Okay, maybe it's about the selection, like choosing the right one, who we want to be our batches, because like usually people come with almost similar idea, like not so much different UVP. So it's how to find like, okay, which one is more fit with our program, even though they are similar, but which one is more fit.
So it's more like what Syifa said in terms of convincing a good candidate.
No, it's not. It's different. It's not convincing them to apply, but they already apply. But how to differentiate them? Like which one is more fit? Like because they like offering similar solution, not so different. I find it in at least at my current project. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, Floor, Gachi, and Syifa, thank you so much for this fruitful discussion. Thank you guys. We hope you enjoyed the discussion. We're going to have lunch now, and we're going to be back at 2.
Any questions? We have time for questions.
Yes, we have.
Okay, seems like someone here is not hungry. Do you still have questions?
Yeah,
sure.
maybe I can say here, maybe,
Okay.
they can just, so get back to the curriculum mentions. Yeah, I think when we're running the incubation accelerations, like there might be the challenge how we gonna tell us the curriculum to buy the incubators. So from your experience or maybe from your advice, like the skill demands approach, or maybe like the skill-based approach, which one that you prefer, or maybe you like?
Sorry, I didn't really get your question.
So
Skill
my question-
demand?
Yeah, skill demands like whether we should be have like specific skill in our curriculum that we need to deliver to the startup
Okay.
founders, or maybe we should deliver the skill demand approach by understanding what they need, and then we can tailor the curriculum from time to time for them.
You mean how do we find those topics, relevant topics? We do have a needs assessment meetings in the beginning of the program, and that's one-on-one. It cannot be done in a mass kind of way. So we do have a dedicated account manager for each company. So one, of course not one-on-one, but one account manager can handle up to 10 companies. But then that account manager needs to have that meeting in the beginning, maybe only 15-30 minutes to discuss what their challenges. And even though we ask their challenges in the application form, sometimes they change over weeks, right? And so we need to reconfirm and make sure that it's still relevant, and that's how we curate then the topics that will be relevant. And these topics can be tactical, this can be strategic, depending on the urgency and the situation.
Ben?
Sorry? I have a question about demo days.
Sorry?
Demo days.
Oh, demo days.
Yeah. It kind of goes back to the cost effectiveness thing as well, right?
It has nothing to do with cost effective.
Well, I'm saying, quite, right? So during the pandemic, we all saved tons of money by based on
Online.
demo days.
Online.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we've done this year is we brought in previous years we heard from the VCs that attended the demo days. Like, oh, that was great, but it would have been nice if I could have seen that slide or this slide, or I understood this about the startup or whatever else. So we introduced the VCs earlier in the process this year so that they can give their feedback at the beginning, so we can help them build on that so that they're more of the finished article when it comes to the demo day. Now they know a lot of the VCs, and we can introduce them to any of the ones that they haven't met anyway, so they don't need to make a personal introduction on that day in that event venue. So one of the challenges we're thinking through at the moment is, what's the purpose of a demo day? Is it PR and hype? Is it celebrating the culmination of the program? Is there an obligation to the founders that you provide that day, that moment in the spotlight to them? Or, at the end of the day, is the important thing that they get more customers and they secure a fundraising, and that's what they need. We're thinking this through at the moment as a management team in our accelerator, and I'm really interested to hear anyone else's thoughts on whether or not the demo day is something that maybe we're starting to move past, or it's fine to have it online, or maybe even not at all.
Okay, I'd like to share my thoughts because it's based on a real experience.
Yes.
It's everything you have just said, all combined in like a 3 hours event. I come from Egypt. We have, demo days each other week for different entities.
Okay.
And you know what? There are similar startups. Like you can find that one startup attending in 1 month 3 demo days.
Yeah.
The same startup.
Okay.
And the main purpose, I've seen this based on true story, they get a hell of a PR and publicizing about their business, what they do, and the core of their business. That's one. The second thing is, they meet people there who has nothing to do with investments and VCs, but a potential lead or potential clients. So they listen and then, oh, okay, I like your idea. I work as a sales account manager in a certain corporate. And then I go there, okay, let's do a deal, a corporate deal, for example. So now he did the PR, he did the corporate deal, and also there's a potential of getting introduced to a VC, getting introduced to an angel investor, getting introduced to a public official who's attending the demo day. So it's everything in one. I understand that online events were something really important. Demo days, all of us attended online demo days. But I believe, coming from the eastern side, now online demo days are not as efficient as before. This is like a comment for everyone. And also now, because of the many demo days, people in the Middle East, let's say, they started choosing certain demo days to attend, not to waste their time, not to waste their energy. We even have sponsorship packages for startups to attend the demo day and pitch their ideas. So it's business as well for the incubator and activator and so on. This is my insight. If someone wants to.
Yeah, we actually found another way to do that investor intro, not by doing demo day, because it's very saturated and everybody is sick and tired of attending demo days. So we don't do demo days in our accelerator. We instead, in that early meeting, we also ask if they are fundraising, or if they're not fundraising, are they open to meet investors? And we provide sort of database, not only the name of the company and what they do, but also the amount of fund that they're raising, if they're only open, or if they're fundraising in the next 12 months. Sort of like give the timeline for the investors to see, and if they want to be introduced, then they can. So this Excel sheet we spread to our investor network, which consists of about 200 plus investors in the region. And then we work kind of like an inbound request. When we receive inbound requests, then we connect them one by one on email, and then after that, they do at their own. But we don't do demo days, and we don't do speed dating anymore for them, because we don't believe any deals will be done through speed dating. But with that one-on-one or inbound emails, I think that works quite well, because then at least we have the interest from the investor first. And then after that, usually the founders will be open, right, to meet, unless there's a conflict. And if there's any company that no investors is interested, then we do the vice versa, the backward. So we provide the list of investor network that we have, and then see the top 10 that they'll be interested in being introduced to, and then we reach out one by one. And we found that this way is more, well, first cost efficient, but not very time efficient maybe. But that way it's very personalized, I would say, and it's also keeping the relationship with both parties well.
Guys, would you like to add something? No. Do you have any other questions? Yeah, please.
I guess nowadays it's just going to be more accelerator, incubators, a lot of noise, a lot of crowd. How are you designing your programs in the next year to be, top percentile accelerator? What are you doing that's going to be better and different to attract the best things?
The next year?
For next year's, yeah, for us, it's one is the network that actually back that accelerator, because we open access to this network, right? So the curation of the network has to be one. That's our differentiation. And we only ask a very small amount of time. It's only 3 hours per month for 5 months. And then we offer very high quality engagements. Like for example, we provide founder-to-founder connections, which is exclusively for founders. And we pick the founders in a way that this has to be the founder who has been 3 to 5 steps ahead. And without, it will be hard to get access to these founders to share their backstory, to share something that they don't share in public, if not through inDrive. And so that's how we package our program. And we also care about the C-levels. This is something that maybe a lot of people forget about, but when companies are post-seed, they start thinking about their C-level development. And so we do have events that is specifically for founders, the one-on-one and the founder-to-founder forum, definitely. And then one that they can invite C-levels, which is like a workshop style. So they can get both benefits from one program, and that's, I think, hopefully, that's how they're be interested in joining next year.
Okay.
Would you like to add something?
Yeah, maybe this is one of the element that you can add to your incubation or acceleration program. But if you do have the expertise on that, is the impact report creation. You can add to help them create an impact report, because currently it's become one of the things that investors looking at, the impact report, and not so many startups already doing making an impact report. So that's one of the elements that you can add if you do have the expertise on that.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. One step back, I want to ask, you mentioned about the problem, the issue with fundraising for accelerators. Can you share your experience with collaborating with government agencies? Because normally every country has its own strategy about how to develop economy and through accelerators, through increasing number of entrepreneurs. Even in Malaysia, we have a case that a few months ago, this Prime Minister, he announced that we need 5,000 startups by 2025. What it means? Okay, but I mean, if he says, it means some government agencies, like he represented MDEC, right? They have this also these targets. They have the goals. They have a budget. They have a budget. Maybe they definitely they need the experts. I mean, expert accelerators. Maybe they have own, but maybe they can invite and onboard new acceleration programs. I mean, maybe if you have some experience, can you share it? Thank you.
Yes. About my mistake, when I worked in the incubator and the accelerator, I made a lot of mistakes, but this is a big mistake, because when we work, we have one fund, our sponsor, and sometimes our sponsor, our fund, forbade us to earn money, because they need to focus, work with us, and but as soon as this fund had a problem, accelerator and incubator almost failed, because we didn't have the other partners, other companies, and this is a really mistake, because it's like a business. You need diversifications, and you need several partners and several way for the earn money, because this is the more stability situation. My previous in IIDF, when IIDF sometimes investment a lot of, but several years ago they stopped investment and told, okay, now we are evergreen fund, and when we sell something and we continue investment, but it's stopped. I'm looking at partners, and Russian Expert Center, Moscow Expert Center, and this is a government agency. It was our good partners after the fund, because they have a budget for expert in IT product as well, and we create a Go Global program for Expert Center, and we work with startups who want to work with foreign countries, and it is really help us to save our team and our acceleration program, because we work with Russian expert agency, and they really spend a lot of money for this program, and it's a good way for accelerator and startups work with the government agency, and I really advise it. And if you look, it's not only for example, I know about Russian because I work in Russian, and a lot of agencies like Expert Center, it was some innovation center, maybe some digital agency. They really have a budget for help startups, and you can work with them. And, it's a good way, really.
From my side, for Russia, I know I want to.
Okay. Was your question about like how to work with government, or to get government support?
Yeah, it's just like you have successful.
Okay, why don't we include the government? We
Yeah, that's why
yes, and they can maybe.
Would you like to? If you would like to join the discussion,
right?
Please.
And like Incubation is a corporation. We are actually a government agencies under the Ministries of Communication and Digital Malaysia. So yeah, we do do not have any accelerator or incubator programs, but we work closely with incubators and accelerator companies to help the startups and industries, because we do have programs for startups. We do have, we are actually exporting the technology out. So we have a bunch of startup businesses. We have anything related to digital economies with MDAC. So we, as the agency, our mandate is to help the startups by working together with accelerators and also incubators, right? There's also a few other agencies under the ministries who has their own startup programs or incubator programs as well. For example, we have Meranti, we have Raju, we have Cradle, who have their own incubators and accelerator program. For MDAC, personally, we do not have any program. That's not our mandate. Our mandate is actually to develop and to help the industry to grow. So we work closely with startups.
Okay, now Dimitri said that you guys have a target of 500 or 5,000? 5,000 startups.
The Prime Minister announced it
Yeah.
in August. We need 5,000 startups by 2025.
How are you going to reach this target? Not you in specific.
It's not me, it's the government of Malaysia.
But you know, if there's an action plan that you would like to, you know, like discuss, or is something that you're authorized to announce?
Currently, I'm not saying that we are going. MDAC is going to do that. It's actually falls under different entities. It's not MDAC. It's Meranti, it's my Cradle. They will actually develop and help these startups. It is actually being announced during the budget announcement for 2024. This year in August. That's right. To help another 5,000 startups in Malaysia. There will be a lot of programs, but we have to actually wait until next year. Normally by first quarter, on what type of program that government is actually coming for us to actually reach the KPI. That as
and who is developing this program?
For time being, it's not MDAC. We are not sure. Maybe it's Meranti, another agencies. Maybe Cradle, maybe Raju, because we have a lot of government agencies helping the startups. But obviously,
when you say we help, you mean you provide some funding or?
Yeah, we offer
Give
funding.
money.
Yeah, we offer funding to the startups. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we offer grant and stuff.
I guess you guys are going to take it offline. He's not going to leave you.
It's an emotional support.
Thank you guys so much. This is it for this panel.
Thank you, guys.